Every 2 years, India hosts Asia's largest military aviation exhibition. It's called Aero India. The air show takes place in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru. Fighter jets and aerobatic formations dazzle the sky, while static displays of aircraft and weapons woo aviation enthusiasts. But this year's Aero India had more than what aircraft watchers could have ordered, because the tarmac in Bengaluru turned into a geopolitical face-off between the United States of America and Russia. India has been on a quest to upgrade its air power. New Delhi has been scouting the market for a fifth-generation aircraft for the Indian Air Force. Foreign nations have often used Aero India as a platform to showcase their high-tech weapons, and this year was no different. Russian President Vladimir Putin made the first move. He sent his country's most advanced jet, the Su-57 stealth fighter jet, to India for the first time. The aircraft landed in Bengaluru 3 days before the start of Aero India and immediately drew crowds and eyeballs. With the air show nearing its flag-off date, Russia offered a sweet deal: the Su-57 for the Indian Air Force. Russia announced that it's willing to co-produce the stealth aircraft with India and also offered to assist in developing India's own stealth fighter jet. Incidentally, in 2010, India and Russia were partners in the Su-57 project, which was known as the FGFA, or Fifth Generation Fighter Aircraft. However, India backed out of the project in 2018 and announced its own stealth jet, the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, or AMCA. Putin wants India back on the deal, so Russia offered India a stealth fighter. But the United States made sure it wasn't being ignored. Initially thought to have pulled out of Aero India 2025, the US sent 2 F-35 stealth jets along with 2 F-16s. Washington has also been trying to woo New Delhi to buy one of its fighter jets, and US President Donald Trump, being the businessman that he is, has decided to challenge Putin's offers head-on. America sent its F-35 jets for the second time, with their first appearance being at the 2023 Aero India Air Show. And it turned into a standoff, with the Su-57 and the F-35 taking turns at buzzing each other while the other waited on the tarmac for its turn. The air show amplified the rivalry between Moscow and Washington, as the Su-57 and the F-35 went head-to-head in trying to put up the best performance. Russia's offer of the Su-57 wasn't directly countered with the F-35. Instead, the US government is offering India 3 other fighter jets: the upgraded F-16, rebadged as the F-21, the F-15EX, and the F-18 Super Hornet. But now, the Trump administration is reportedly considering selling the F-35 to India, as India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump met in Washington.
Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters.
With both Russia and the US wanting to sell their stealth jets to India, we see how the two aircraft are head-to-head. Currently, there are less than a handful of nations that make their own stealth fighter jets. These are Russia, China, and the US. The US was the first to make the 5th generation stealth aircraft, and it shocked the world when it launched the F-22 Raptor in the year 2005. Then came the F-35 Lightning, which has now become common among NATO allies. Russia has only the Su-57 Felon to show in its stealth fleet. On the other hand, China is now only the second country after the US to have two different types of stealth jets. These are the J-20 Mighty Dragon and the J-35A Ger Falcon. In December last year, China also unveiled two 6th generation stealth fighter jets, beating the US and Russia in that race. Meanwhile, Turkey and South Korea are also working on their own stealth jets, and so is India. But India is also open to buying stealth jets from allied nations, and only the Su-57 is on offer, and maybe the F-35. Despite being stealth, the two aircraft are optimized for completely different roles. The F-35 is made for offense, while the Su-57 is more for defensive roles. The F-35 is designed to penetrate enemy air defenses and carry out missions like deep penetration strikes in contested airspace. The Su-57, on the other hand, is designed to be an interceptor of enemy aircraft that have entered its airspace, and it can carry out short-range airstrikes. The Su-57's radar cross-section is between 0.1 to 1 square meter, which is a lot larger than the F-35's, which is 0.0015 square meters, meaning the Russian stealth jet is easier to detect for radars. However, the F-35 is costlier to operate compared to its Russian counterpart. The Su-57 only needs around half the amount of money for its sorties, and the Russian jet comes with no baggage, unlike the F-35, which would come with several restrictions, particularly with Trump in office. With the two jets on display, India is keen for a third option, its homegrown project. This year's Aero India was about showcasing indigenous firepower. It started with the Indian Air Force chief taking the Indian Army chief, who also happens to be his course mate, on a joyride in the Tejas trainer.
As you are aware that Air Chief Marshal AP is my course mate. We've been together from NDA days. I wish he had met me earlier, and I would have definitely changed my option to the Air Force. As I have told earlier also that if I had gone to the Air Force, I would have been fighter pilot. And I must say that from today onwards, Air Chief Marshal AP is also my guru, because he made me do a lot of roles and other activities while in the sky. And I really enjoyed it. It was a great challenge and really relished it. I'm really grateful to the Indian Air Force, and I must admire the kind of a challenge the pilots of the Indian Air Force take.
Acknowledging the high stakes of the airshow, India reaffirmed its role as the balancing peacemaker in the world.
Personifying a billion opportunities, this aero show can be nothing less than that. Aero India, which starts today, has many objectives. The first important objective of Aero India is to showcase not only our industrial capability, but also our technological advancement to the entire world. This shows our commitment towards the security of our nation. However, there is an even bigger objective, and that is to further strengthen our symbiotic relations with friendly foreign countries.
And with that, India unveiled its 1-to-1 scale model of its indigenous stealth fighter, the AMCA. The AMCA is India's stealth fighter project. It's a twin-engine multi-role fighter jet. It's likely to have 14 hardpoints, including those in the internal bay. The jet will also incorporate artificial intelligence and will have unmanned drones as its wingmen. But the aircraft is still in its planning phase, and it's likely to be introduced only in 2036. As India looks to replenish its depleting air power, Russia and the United States are offering their jets, but India is looking for solutions at home. With threats growing in India's neighborhood, particularly from China and Pakistan, what will be India's next move?
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir we're on our way to Tel Aviv. City measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office, Prime Minister Modi. Divyan,
we were actually
how are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 4.3 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.